Dear student, hope you will safe and sound. Today we will continue the remaining part of the API program. So in the first lecture, basically we discuss in detail that when this program was established, what was the main objective of this program, and what is the basic strategy of this program. Then we discuss about the remaining part, the importance of this API program, and later on we discuss in detail about the certain condition in which we have to avoid the API program, maybe on temporary basis, depend upon the situation, and where some minor conditions where we should have to continue this program. So this was all about the previous lecture. Today we will discuss about some important vaccine according to the API program, which is a part of the API schedule specially. So the first important vaccine, and I think you have a little background about this one, is the BCG. BCG basically, this vaccine is to be used prophylactically, most commonly in case of newborn babies and children, to protect them from tuberculosis. I think you have a sound background of the tuberculosis. A little touch should be there so that you may familiar with the tuberculosis. So tuberculosis, very simply, this is one of the potentially fatal contagious disease. From this it is clear that tuberculosis have the ability for the spreading phenomena, because this is a contagious in nature, and most commonly if someone discuss about the tuberculosis, so we just think that this have a direct effect on the respiratory mechanism. Anyhow, if we focus on the detail of this infectious disease, so tuberculosis not only affect the respiratory, anyhow this have a direct effect on our all body vital organ system. So by definition, or simply, it is one of the fatal contagious disease which affect almost various part, but especially it affect the lungs region. That's why we can say it's one of the contagious infectious disease of the lung region. What is the basic microorganism which are involved in case of tuberculosis? Because this is one of the infectious disease, so certain microbes should be involved. So the common microbe that are basically involved for the tuberculosis is to be known as most commonly acid fast bacteria. Anyhow, once we talk about the tuberculosis, so we just mention that a single specific bacteria is to be responsible for this infectious disease. Anyhow, we can say that a lot infectious bacteria are basically involved for causing this respective infectious disease. Some of the common bacteria which you are, I think, familiar. So in case of, as for the human concern, so the one of the bacteria is to be known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So Mycobacterium tuberculosis, that's directly related to the human system. Anyhow, not only Mycobacterium tuberculosis is responsible for this infectious disease, contagious disease, some other bacteria also responsible. So the next one, that is the Mycobacterium bovis. So Mycobacterium bovis is related to the animal study. From this it is clear that why tuberculosis is not permanently eradicated from the globe, and still it's a part of the universe. It is present in the entire globe. Cases are reported worldwide. Again, I will mention you people according to the incidence rate of this, but still cases are reported in the European society. Anyhow, most of the cases are still emerging in the Asian society or in our country. So the next, this is why because why this is still part of the globe, why it's still part of the universe, why it is still present, why cases are emerging, why it is not properly eradicated. So from this it is clear this disease may be spread from the animal side, and one of the infectious microbe is the Mycobacterium bovis. So Mycobacterium bovis is one of the clear indication that this infectious disease is present in the globe. Anyhow, related to the human being, so Mycobacterium tuberculosis is most commonly responsible. Beside these two important microbes, certain other microbes are still there. They are also responsible for this infectious disease, and most commonly we have Mycobacterium africanum. Mycobacterium africanum, this is also one of the bacteria which is responsible for causing tuberculosis or this infectious problem. Another one is the Mycobacterium macroti. So macroti, this is again one of the bacteria which is responsible for this problem, and that's why the multi cases are reported in our society. Beside this, we have some other bacteria like Mycobacterium leprae, Mycobacterium avium, and Ascetium. So Ascetium avium, these are also various species and various microbes which are responsible for tuberculosis in the globe. So a lot of bacteria basically they are responsible for causing this respective problem. Anyhow, as for the incidence rate of the tuberculosis concern, that's why I mentioned earlier that why still it's a part of the globe or the universe. So simply a lot microbes are there, a lot carriers are there. So due to these carriers, still these microbes are easily transmitted to the human system and have a direct effect on the human system while causing the respective disease condition. So as for the incidence rate of the tuberculosis concern, so one of the survey which was conducted especially in 2011. So according to that survey, 8.7 million incidents of the tuberculosis were there in the 2011 especially. Anyhow, as according to that survey, which was not restricted, that survey was not restricted to a specific part of the world, to a specific population. This data was related to the entire globe and the entire universe especially. So according to the survey of 2011 that was conducted regarding the tuberculosis, so according to that data, 59% of the cases were reported especially in the Asian society. Again, in the previous lecture, if you recall, I mentioned that poliomyelitis cases are mostly emerging in the Asian society. Why? What's the reason? A lot of factors are there. So same here, if we focus, so 2011 and still in Asian society 59% cases. So I think this is one of the huge number. So the next one is for the African concern, so that was almost 26%. The next one, Eastern Mediterranean region, that was 7.7%. European society, European region, that was 4.3%. American region of the America, so that was almost 3%. So again, if we focus, so in case of Europe, almost less cases of the tuberculosis were reported. But as for the Asian society and some country of the African country concern, so a large number of cases basically reported. I think as for the sign and symptom concern, you are familiar, it's part of the microbiology, but still I will share with you people so that you are familiar. So in case of tuberculosis, a persistent cough phenomena will be there. So one thing keep in mind, in all conditions, it doesn't mean that if someone have a cough and we say that this person is suffering from tuberculosis. So a lot other sign symptoms should be there beside this one. So anyhow, on priority basis, in case of tuberculosis, there will be a persistent cough mechanism. The next one related to the sign symptom of the tuberculosis. So again, just to share with you people, I mentioned in the early that basically tuberculosis affect the entire vital system of our body. Anyhow, again, the most common sign symptom related to tuberculosis, again, one of the thing that is the pain in chest region. So it doesn't mean that if someone have the pain and we say that this person is suffering from tuberculosis. So chest pain, again, this is one of the disease related to the heart, angina, like angina situations. But just simple pain in chest region, it doesn't mean that the person is suffering from tuberculosis. So I think for all diseases, at least there should be a cluster of sign symptoms. So where a persistent cough, the next one pain in chest region, and bloody sputum. This is also one of the clear sign symptom related to the tuberculosis. Bloody sputum is there, so I think this is one of the clear phenomena. The next one is the fatigue. Yes, increased body temperature or elevated body temperature should be there, and yes, increased fever. Again, the respiratory mechanism is affected, so shortness of breath will be there, because the normal respiration mechanism is commonly affected in case of the tuberculosis. And urine discoloration, yes, change in urine color will be there. This again the important thing which is basically. So I think these are some clear signs and symptoms, but not to go in the detail of these things. It's part of the microbiology, and we have to focus on the API vaccine related to the tuberculosis especially. Anyhow, a background should be there so that you may familiar, and you should have a sound knowledge of related to the tuberculosis. One thing keep in mind that related to the BCG, or they related to this infectious disease. So I think most commonly in the early, it was basically the important thing which was noted especially in the early, and that was that because this disease was most commonly affecting our newborn babies and children. So again, yes, when this program, especially the API, was established or launched in 1974, so this was also one of the main objective to avoid, to protect the newborn babies, the children from the tuberculosis or this infectious problem. So BCG vaccine, anyhow, this vaccine is most commonly, as I mentioned, is most commonly used prophylactically for the newborn babies and children. So we will discuss in detail about this one, and I think the vaccine which are most commonly recommended, and still which is one of the most important part of the API program, is the BCG. So BCG stand for Bacillus metagori, one of the important vaccine most commonly used prophylactically against the tuberculosis, and especially in this case we have to vaccinate the newborn babies, the children, and that's why BCG should be recommended by birth. Inshallah, we will discuss in too much detail about this one, when we have to administer BCG, when we have to administer DPT, inshallah, in schedule in the coming lecture, schedule of the API. So as for the BCG vaccine is concerned, so type of the vaccine, what is the type of the vaccine? This is very important. So again, this is a bacterial vaccine. Yes, we have to properly treat the respective bacteria whatsoever, so that yes, the bacteria should have the antigenic property and have the capability, like in early we mentioned, that's to enhance, to modulate, to potentiate the defense mechanism against tuberculosis. So as for the type of the vaccine is concerned, BCG vaccine is one of the live bacterial vaccine. Form of vaccine, in which form basically, yes, so it's one of the freeze dried vaccine. This is again one of the important thing regarding the BCG vaccine. Minimum age for the BCG. So one of the important thing we should have to keep in mind, never disturb the schedule of the API, which we will discuss in the coming lecture. So the first dose of the BCG should be recommended by birth, at birth time. So the first vaccine should be administered to the newborn babies at birth time. This is very important. Anytime at birth is very important, but anyhow the important thing is just to administer by birth the BCG. This is very important. Whereas for the number of doses to complete the immunization mechanism concerned. So again, just to discuss and to share with you people, the first dose of the BCG is to be administered at birth time. As I mentioned earlier, by birth or just at birth time, we should have to recommend the first dose of the BCG, Bacillus calmette-guerin. Whereas for the next dose concern, so yes, it's important, and I think we have to recommend because it's important to protect all newborn babies from various infectious disease. So the second dose of the BCG should be recommended, should be administered during school time, once the kid become enter to the school. So obviously school entrance time, this is very important. So the second dose yes, to recommend during the school going time, and so anyhow mostly people focus just on the first dose, just to administer the first dose. And anyhow I will say that to complete the phenomena, to complete the immunization, to protect the newborn babies completely, why not to take support of both the doses, two doses, just at birth time and in school going child especially. Reason, what is the basic reason? So early I discussed that yes, we should have to recommend the BCG vaccine and to be administered as soon as possible in order to protect the newborn babies from the tuberculosis, and not only tuberculosis, so many other problem even, because if someone is suffering from tuberculosis, so a lot other problem, because I mentioned that yes, this have a direct effect on a lot of the vital organ system. So that's why to protect the newborn babies, that's why BCG vaccine should be administered, and that's why it's one of the important part of the API program. So the clear reason is that BCG should be administered, should be recommended for the newborn babies, for the children, to protect them from the tuberculosis and the concurrent other problem related to the tuberculosis. The next one is number of doses per ampule. So 20 doses are basically available as per ampule concern. So 20 doses mean that we can vaccinate 20 children regarding the tuberculosis. While using the single one ampule, we can immunize, we can vaccinate 20 children, 20 newborn babies. The next one is very important. Dosage, what should be the quantity of the BCG vaccine? That's very important. So as earlier we mentioned that 2 doses should be recommended. So as for the first dose concern, that is to be administered at birth time is 0.05 ml. is mentioned. That is, the dose should be recommended, should be administered to the newborn babies at birth time, while the second dose in school going child, and the dose, yes, we should have to little increase the dose, and that is 0.1 ml specially. So the initial dose, which is to be administered at birth, is up to someone, the quantity is less, but with the phase, yes, we should have to increase the quantity. The next one, which is too much important regarding the BCG vaccine, is the route of administration. So yes, it's important for the API program that the exact route should be followed. So in case of BCG, yes, we should have to administer the vaccine intradermally. The BCG vaccine should be administered intradermally. The next one, site of administration. So I think if the site is clear, so the route of administration intradermally is too much important. Site is not too much important anyhow. The right deltoid muscles, so I think this is part of the anatomy, and you should be familiar with this one. So right deltoid region of the arm, so I think intradermal route, if it is clear and you have study in the general pharmacology, I think you will be familiar, and inshallah we will discuss about this also, the various route of administration, inshallah, in pharmacology lecture, and you will be familiar. The next one is the storage temperature. So yes, the BCG vaccine should be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. I mean, against at refrigerated temperature we should have to store. The next one, special precaution. As I mentioned, that route should be clear. So yes, again, in case of special precaution, the correct route should be followed. Yes, the correct exact route should be followed. So we should have to administer intradermally. It should be clear, and specific gauge syringe should be used. It's very important. Is for the side effect concern, so I think regarding the BCG vaccine there is no any serious side effect. Later I mentioned, but there is no any clear side effect regarding this vaccine. The next one, again, just to share with you people, is contraindication. So is for the contraindication concern, so early I share with you people that there should be certain condition where we have to avoid the API program. Yes, we have to stop the certain vaccines on temporary basis. So same here for the BCG vaccine, some certain conditions are there where we have to avoid. So if someone is immunosuppressed due to certain malignant problem, for instance, if a child have the condition that is like AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and I think you are familiar. So in such situation we should have to contraindicated BCG vaccine. Or if someone is on immunosuppressive therapy, so again this have a direct effect, because I mentioned that in case of HIV or AIDS whatsoever, because they directly attack on our immune system, CD4 helper T cells. So that's why in such conditions, so if already the person is immunosuppressed, so in such condition we should have to avoid the vaccine. The next thing which is too much important, especially and I think this is important for the nurse or whatsoever, the candidate which is responsible to administer vaccine. So it's important and it should be clear to you people, do not massage the area of injection. So one thing keep in mind, basically we just think just to inject the medicine, so we should have to massage there. This is not in all conditions. So in case of BCG vaccine, once you administer intradermally, never massage the area. The next one, a scar formation will be there. So a scar formation, so if a scar formation is there after the injection of BCG, so yes, it is to be clear that yes, it should be clear to you people that the immunization process start. The next one, health teaching point of view, if scar is not there, so again you should have to vaccinate your children again. So I think today later you have again something about the BCG vaccine, most commonly used for the tuberculosis. So today, in a short summary, what we discussed, basically we discussed that BCG, which is basically calmette-guerin, is one of the vaccine and to be used most commonly prophylactically for tuberculosis. So tuberculosis, I mentioned you people that is one of the infectious problem, infectious disease, fatal disease, which basically affect various part of our body system. Anyhow, as for this concern, so most the area which is most commonly affected is the lung. So a fatal infectious contagious disease of the lung, tuberculosis. Various microbes are basically responsible, and simply acid fast bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycobacterium bovis, and so many other I share with you people, and I think you are familiar. It's a part of the microbiology. So various microbes are basically responsible. Then we discuss about the incidence rate, that yes, one of the surveys was conducted in 2011 in the entire globe. So multi cases were reported, and the cases were not only related to the specific country or a specific population, the data was related to the entire population or globe, but most of the cases were reported in the Asian society. The next one, which is too much important especially, so again here we discuss BCG vaccine, which is one of the important part of the EPI. So we discussed the type, nature of the vaccine, form of the vaccine, minimum age where we have to vaccinate our children, the number of doses. We discuss a reason why we recommend BCG vaccine. Then we basically focus on the route of administration, storage temperature. Later we discuss about the side effect, and the next, which is too much important, contraindication, especially if the person is immunosuppressed or suffering from malignant disease like AIDS. And next we discuss about the health teaching, which I think you gain something. So hope that you learn a lot. The remaining vaccine of the API, inshallah we will discuss in the coming lecture.